Your accountant is going paperless this year, and they're hoping that you'll come along for tax returns. Now, this training is divided into two parts. First, we're going to do a very quick, abbreviated training class on how you can go paperless for tax returns, and then we'll do an extended version with lots and lots of details. So let's go into the very easy, fast start. Here's what it amounts to. We sent you an email address. Put that into your scanning software. And what we want you to do is anytime any document comes in that has to do with a tax return, tax deductible, even if it's questionable, even if it's a finance document and you just want someplace secure to store it, throw it on your scanner and click Scan to Email. Send the document in. Here's what will happen. If you're looking at my computer screen, you'll see that we're going to move you from a big crowded desk of documents. It's going to go into our Allentown, Pennsylvania secure servers. Then at 7 p.m., my staff will actually read the document, and we charge your accountant 15 cents to do this. We're going to read the document and organize it. Then we're going to move it over to the person at your accountant or tax preparation office or bookkeeper who's going to do your returns. We're going to move it over to their task list so that at the end of the year, they can do the returns. At any time, using this master dashboard, you'll be able to log on and see all of your tax documents, even those that are from previous years. What this means is that you're going to have a lot clearer desk, and you're never going to lose a document again. Now, if you'd like to hear the complete details in the training, continue to listen to this tape. On this website, you'll find 3 videos on how to use Delegation Magic, a document management system, for doing individuals' tax returns, your home documents, receipts, that sort of thing, contracts that you have at home, a place to store those where you can retrieve them easily, up to a bookkeeping system where you can send in all of your documents if you own a small business, or if you want to, a complete document and workflow management system, and that'll be video number 3. So what we're going to do is go through today on this video how to use the red page under Delegation Magic that your accountant is paying for, or your tax preparation office. They're paying for this for you so that you can have a cleaner, easier, simpler life. So let's go to the screen and we'll show you a little bit about what we're going to do this morning. There are 3 parts of this. We just talked about it: tax returns, bookkeeping, and the complete document management. For today's position, we're not going to be talking about the paperless or delegation. We're going to actually talk about how to manage documents with the Delegation Magic for doing your tax returns and personal record keeping. And what we're trying to do is take you away from an office that looks like this. And this might be your home desk. It might be all the filing cabinets where you have paper stuff. It might even be what your billfold looks like. But what we'd like to do is take you to a clean desk where you can find anything in just moments on your computer screen. And the way that's going to work is that all of these documents that you have currently, you're just going to throw them on a scanner and email them to us as a PDF. Now, we sent you, when we set up your Delegation Magic page, we sent you an email address. It was pretty unique and some logon codes. All you need to do is scan documents, and they all have a feature where you can scan to PDF. So you'll scan to PDF and send us an email, anything that comes in the door. The K1 that comes in, the medical receipt, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes, what you would send. Or even if you have a lease agreement and you want to be able to find it at some time in the future, you can throw it on your scanner and send it in as an email. Now, what if you don't have a scanner? Then you can send it in by fax. Now, you will need to buy some service that does fax to email conversion. And we'll have a button over here on the side of the screen with a couple of examples of companies that provide that service. And it's really inexpensive, maybe $25 or $35 a year, although we use a scanner. We have a home scanner, a little Fujitsu portable, cost us about $300. And when any mail does get to our house, which is actually pretty rare, and you're going to hear why, if any mail or a document does end up inside our home, we immediately take it over and put it on the little two-side duplexing scanner so that we get rid of it. We never have to look for it again. Now, we don't throw documents away. We just throw them in a banker's box. If we ever need to retrieve those documents, the banker's box gets full. We write the ending date on it, throw it in the garage. If we ever do need to look at original document, then we can go dig down in the banker's box. But you know, we've been doing this since 1997. Do you know I've not had to go get an original document one time in what now has been almost 14 years? So using a document management system is a great way to get a lot more organization and clarity in your life. So when you send in documents to the system, and we're hoping that you use the email, and if not, you can use a fax. They'll go into our secure servers. We've had these servers since 1995. So we've had a long relationship with 128-bit encryption. The entire HIPAA-compliant document security system is in place. They'll go into a document web page that will look like this. And the whole reason for doing this, the whole value for doing this, is you're never going to lose a piece of paper again. You'll never lose a document again. Now what happens is the documents come into the system and they're assigned to a document technician. We call that person a dot. And the dot actually reads the document and assigns it over to the person at your accountant or tax preparation office who will be responsible for doing data entry at the end of the year. Now, if you were using the full-blown program, and I'm just telling you this so you understand what's on the rest of the videos and why this looks so advanced. We actually, for many small businesses, handle documents in production, marketing, finance, and the documents then are divided into those categories when they come in. Now, the reason this works is because we have a secret here that nobody else uses. We actually read every single piece of paper by hand. We do not dump the work of naming documents and organizing them back on you. This is a service. We run 24/7 in the background. Your accountant or tax preparation office has agreed to pay for this as a way to help you become paperless. And the truth is it helps them too, because when you send in documents over the course of the year, they can do advanced tax planning. They don't have to send out an organizer for you to fill out and then wait around for it. They can level their workload. If everybody rushes into the tax office on February 1st to get a quick refund, or April 14th because they owe money, if everybody rushes in on those 2 days, the poor tax office is working 24 hours a day trying to keep up. But if we have documents coming in all year long, like when the medical receipt, you come back from the doctor's office, you just throw the medical receipt over on the scanner. Every couple of days, then you go over and you log on, you turn the scanner on, everything goes out. So if the work comes in all year long, then it's easier for your accountant to level their labor load so that they can provide better service to you. It does reduce their cost, but they're picking up the cost for this service for you. Now, let's go back to our screen, because what I want to show you here is whenever a document comes in, we actually have people that read it, and they'll tell us what type of document it is, who it came from, what the document's about, if there are any important keywords that are involved, and if there's an amount involved. They'll write that in on the dialog box. And this is a SQL dialog box over here on the right-hand panel that attaches to the document, so that all information about this document can be retrieved quickly, and any notes that are taken can be accessed immediately. They even have an audit trail, a time and billing trail, so they can look at every time a piece of paper is accessed, so that we can track how long it took us to do your return. And this is another way that it's going to reduce your cost for services in the future with your accountant. The last thing our document technician will do is actually assign this piece of paper to the person in your accountant or tax preparer's office that's going to do the work. So what we see here is documents come from your desk into our server, up to our naming our dot, and then over to the person in their office that does the work. And you can access these documents at any time. What's not going to happen is you're not going to look for paper. You'll never look for another piece of paper again. And this is the biggest benefit of using Delegation Magic. You know, at the end of the year, when the accountant sends you that organizer and you're running all over and you just dread the work and you're running all over looking for this receipt or that charitable contribution, you're trying to round up K-1s or interest statements come in from the bank, all of that work goes away. All of that goes away because what happens here is that when the document comes in the door in the first place, you throw it on the scanner. Every Sunday morning on our way to church, my wife writes a check. Before she walks out the door, she just throws it on the scanner, and it takes her about 3 seconds, because we leave our computers on all the time. It takes her about 3 seconds to click scan, and it's in the system. And so now she can walk over to the church, and she knows that at the end of the year we're going to get the charitable deduction, and she's not going to have to look up any records or go through bank statements and calculate and add up the numbers. It's already being done over the course of the year. Or what about medical bills? Now, this is a place where we have a lot of opportunities for tax deductions, and we don't take them because we forget everything we've done. So here's another little technique we use. Whenever she comes home from the doctor's office for one of our children or for whatever, she's always got a yellow receipt in her hand for paying the bill, and she just walks over and throws it on the scanner. And then the next time that she's got a couple of pages on the scanner, she just hits send, and every one of them have a button, scan to email. She scans to email. As soon as the email sender software, whatever it is, usually it's Outlook for most people, when it opens up, she just types the first 1 or 2 letters of the email address, the one that I just sent you, because that is custom. You're the only one with that address. And the document will go through the scanner, convert to PDF, and go right directly into the document management, into the secure servers, where your accountant can then add those numbers up over the course of the year. Many of us do not itemize our deductions because it's just so much trouble to track all these numbers and receipts. This will be a very easy way to get a lot more organized by using document management. Now let's go back to our screen, because the thing that I wanted to show you next is how easy it is to actually find a document. If I want to look for a document, all I do is open up my document management, and remember, the portion of the document management that we're using is right here. Documents are coming into my accountant or tax preparer's office. At the end of the year, they're doing the work, and then when they complete the return, they're saving it under Finance and HR. At any time, you can go into your document management, and you might type in 1040. I want to look at my tax returns. And when you click send, the appropriate documents will come up in the search. You just click on the document and it pops right up on the screen. If you have an extremely difficult or complicated search that you want to do, and let me give you an example. It's December 30th. No, this always happens December 23rd, right before Christmas. We're in a good mood and we wonder, have we done enough for charity this year? Should we do a little bit extra? Well, look at the screen. I'll show you a quick, easy way to figure that out. We can say, I want to see all my charitable contributions, and I will actually get a list of every place I gave money in the last year, and I can even have it set up so it sorts it by church or cancer society or the heart fund. So it's real easy for me to go back and total up all the money that I've paid out to charitable contributions this year. And I can click on any one of them, and I would, if this had been a check to the church, the check would have been there. But it's very easy for me to go in here and say, look, there's all the checks that we wrote to the church this year. I'm sure there were a lot more than that. So now, this is a great way to get rid of documents out of your home and to have them all organized for you. And the part I like the best is that your accountant's actually paying for this. I bill them 15 cents per page that you send in. They're happy to pay for it on your behalf. And here's the reason why. If you're organized, you will pay less in taxes. If you're organized, and by the way, if you pay less, you're going to like your tax preparer a lot more. If you're organized, it takes your tax preparer or your accountant a lot less time to do work for you. And the biggest reason of all is that they can level the load of the work out over the course of the year. A lot of things that they're going to need to do April 15th can actually be done October 3rd. So if the documents are on the system when they have downtime at their office, they can log on and start recording documents they're going to apply to the tax return. So this is a win-win situation for everybody, and that's why your accountant is footing the bill. Now let's go back to the screen because I want to show you something else here. We're going to talk about using the system and assigning tasks to your accountant. And this is going to be another great time saver. There are so many times we wish we could ask our accountant a question, or we need to set an appointment, or they need to ask us a question. And we have to fool around with the phone. Did you remember to call the accountant today? That kind of thing. Well, we want to take, that's called a friction point in our life. And we want to remove friction points. And today's technology allows us to do that. So let's say it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you think of something that you'd like to ask the accountant or something you want them to do. So what we're going to do is go back to our screen, and I'm going to show you how we assign tasks using the Delegation Magic. So I'll go to full screen here so we can get a bigger picture of what we're doing. And your Delegation Magic won't look quite as populated as this one because I have a lot of staff people that work for me from home. This is my full-blown system for one of my businesses. So all I want to do though is add a task. I go to my Delegation Magic and click Add Task. What kind of task is it? Maybe it has something to do with taxes, or I've got a question on payroll. If you can't figure out anything, just leave it at select, and that would mean leave it blank. Maybe you got a letter for an audit. Yuck. So we would click Audit. And then in our type of category, this is going to be about finance because we're doing tax returns. The rest of this information, don't worry about it because this is something that's going to be more commonly used in a business situation. We want to make this as simple and clean as possible. I just want to leave a note for my accountant. I don't want to send them an email because an email won't go into the workflow at my accountant's office. An email is just something the accountant looks at, and if they forget about it or they accidentally delete it or it goes into spam, then you've got to call them on the phone anyway. But if we put a task online using the Delegation Magic, that task stays there forever. Even after it's completed, it stays in the history file forever. So this is a great, easy way for you to communicate with your accountant. Let's go back to the screen. I'll show you a little bit more. And so what I would do is I say, listen, I've got a question here, and I need it hopefully answered by January 20th. And here is the question. And then you can just say, here's what I need. Whatever that is. When you're done, you simply click Save. Then I guess it's going to ask me to set a priority. Everybody says priority 1, so we'll go ahead and set priority 1. And it looks like it wants me to set a status. The status is open because they have not done any work on it yet. Who is it from? I'm a customer or client of the accountant. And then we're ready to click Save. And I guess it wants me to assign it to somebody, so I'm going to assign it to my accountant, and now I'll click Save. Now what will happen here is this becomes a piece of paper. My request actually generates a piece of paper electronically and puts it into the workflow, which means that it assigns it to the person that's managing the tax returns for your accountant or tax preparer, who's ever doing the basic data entry work for your particular needs. They're going to see this task pop up on their screen when they come to work tomorrow. They have what's called a green page under a system called Paperless overnight. They'll be able to access all the tasks that come in from everybody every morning, and then they have to do something with it because the task won't go away. So they either delegate it up to the accountant or they take care of it themselves, but your task will be at the top of their list of to-dos tomorrow morning. This is just a great way to ask your accountant. But here's something else that's pretty interesting. Your accountant uses the exact same process to ask you questions. Now it works slightly different. Let's go back to our screen and I'll show you what we're looking at. Let's just take a page, a document. Now I have no idea what document we're going to come up with. So I just clicked on one of my staff people's on their name. In your case, it would be the bookkeeper over at the accountant's office. And let's say that the bookkeeper or the accountant is looking at a document that they don't understand. So the document comes up on the screen. and they're trying to do your tax return work, and they don't understand what this document pertains to, they will simply type in a note to you right on the document, right next to the document in that dialog box. What are you doing with this? I don't understand. And then they'll reach down under page status and they click clarification needed. Now, you don't necessarily need to know how all this works. I'm just showing you what they do. And when they click save and close, here's what happens. Their request to you goes onto your red page and on your list of things to do. But guess what? You get an email that says, we've got a question. We don't understand this document. And all you do is click on the email at your convenience and the document opens up so that you can answer it at 2 o'clock in the morning if you want, or Sunday afternoon while everyone else is watching television. You can go in and answer your emails or solve problems. But this again removes a friction point. There's no calling the accountant. There's no driving downtown for appointments. You're communicating back and forth, but the part I like the best is that all of your requests and communications can be attached to the document that caused the question. What a great way to have high productivity in your accountant's office, to keep your prices lower. What a great way to remove friction out of your life, along with looking for pieces of paper at tax time. Now, let's go back to our screen. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like, your accountant and all of their staff are working on a process called bottom-up workflow. All the documents that you send in, the 1040, the K1, the W2, are named, and then they're sent up the skill chain for the person to do the basic work. And of course, anything that final or any problems or questions are done at the senior level or at the CPA or tax prep level, and then the work is done. The reason they can do this so quickly is because they're using dual monitors, and your source documents that you send in over the year are on their left screen. The tax preparation software is on the right screen, and they have a rapid series of tasks and processes they use to move directly through doing tax returns. But this is the worst one of all. What about an audit? Now, audits are ugly, and we hope you never get one. But if you should, I'm going to show you exactly how easy this is. Because, you know, the most common comment about an audit is it will turn you into a real good record keeper. Once you've had an audit, you will never make a tax deduction in the future without something to back it up. You're going to be in that position right now. As a matter of fact, this is so good that even if you give somebody at the street corner, if you stop at the red light and somebody washes your windshield and you throw them $5, do you know that you can record that in real time? All you need to do is call it in. There's a very simple way. It's on one of our additional buttons for training. It's in-depth training. But there's a simple way using a service called MaxiMail to call in a voicemail. The voicemail's converted to a WAV file. The WAV file goes into your system. And you can say, I just gave somebody $5. So if you like recording down to that level, you certainly can. I know I do that all the time. I use everybody when I walk out of the grocery store. I always throw a few bucks in the can. And when I stop at the street corner, I like to have a clean windshield. What I really don't like is arguing with the guy, so I just give him the money. So this, what a great way to be able to track this. But the big important thing is, if we go back to the screen, I want to show you something. Your accountant will go down to the Internal Revenue Service and manage the audit for you. Oh, by the way, don't do this on your own. Do not do an audit. This is just a footnote, just a little piece of side advice. But if you ever get an audit, don't do it. And here's the reason why. If you say anything that's not 100% true, today they will slap you with perjury. Now, the reason I told you that is because don't go. Don't go to an audit. Send your accountant. What your accountant's going to do is open up this document management. Let's go back to our screen. They're going to open up this document management, and anytime the auditor says, well, what about? He's just going to type in the question, and the information is going to come up. And that's it. This is going to be the easiest tax season you've ever had. No more looking for paper. No more searching around for documents all over the house. And you're going to know right where every tax document and every deduction is, because it's never going to get lost. All you need to do to start is send one piece of paper in, just scan one document to the email address that I sent you, and then you'll see how the process works. From now on, you're going to be totally paperless. And best of all, your accountant is paying for this. Thanks to Casey Truby, and we look forward to you being paperless.